Let's set the record straight. Women don't always make sense on the surface. One day, she's warm, texting back, making time for you. The next, she's distant, cold, or pulling away entirely. She says she wants a strong man, but when you show up as one, she creates distance. Confusing, absolutely. But here's the truth. Most men miss. The moment she starts feeling the most for you is often the moment she pushes you the hardest, and if you take that personally, you'll react emotionally, chase harder, and lose your frame. That's where attraction dies. What looks like rejection might actually be emotional panic. Modern women have been hurt, lied to, left behind. So when real feelings show up, they trigger fear, not excitement. She feels vulnerable. She wants your presence, but fears your power. She doesn't know whether to open up or protect herself. And protection, it often shows up as silence, mood swings, or I need space. If you don't recognize that for what it is, you'll chase, over-explain, and validate her fear. But the Stoic man doesn't do that. He holds the line. In this video, you'll learn how to stay grounded when she's emotionally spinning. Not with anger, not with neediness, but with calm, quiet strength. Now, if this hit home for you, if you've ever felt the sting of mixed signals, don't just move on. Like this video to support real masculine growth. Subscribe if you're ready to lead with strength, not emotion. And comment below, I choose calm over chaos. Because here, we don't chase validation. We become the kind of men she can't push away. 1. Her fear of losing control. When a woman starts falling, a war ignites inside her. The walls she spent years building begin to crack, and every crack feels like danger. She has survived heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment. So vulnerability isn't romance to her. It's exposure. The moment her heart leans toward you, her mind hits the brakes. Whoever feels more always feels less in control. And control is her favorite armor. You'll notice the shift texts slow. Eyes wander. Energy cools. She may claim she's busy. Needs time. Isn't ready. Translation, I feel too much and it scares me. Most men misread that signal. They chase, send paragraphs, demand clarity, shower reassurance, and every anxious gesture screams, your fear is justified. I'm already shaken. Attraction collapses on the spot. Stoic masculinity, see deeper. First, do not panic. Her distance isn't judgment on your worth. It's a storm in her own chest. Breathe. Let silence broadcast steadiness. Second, match her pace with calm restraint. Pull back a step, not to punish, but to create space where her emotions can breathe. She must learn that feeling for a man is strength, not weakness. And she learns that only when the man doesn't weaponize her feelings or demand explanations. Third, stay present without pursuit, a brief check-in, a confident smile. Then back to your mission. Show that her turbulence cannot detour your purpose. Consistency without pressure rewires fear faster than promises. Picture her inner dialogue. If I let him in, he could leave. If he leaves, I break again. Better to retreat first. Your job is not to debate that dialogue, but to let reality disprove it. So keep building your life gym workouts, business goals, brotherhood, purpose, posture over pursuit. When she glances back, she must see a man accelerating, not waiting. Use micro-signals, not monologues, steady tone, relaxed shoulders, eye contact that says, "I'm good either way." Energy is the language she trusts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Stand upright, or be set upright." Stand upright now. Your composure sets both of you upright. If, after measured space, she reaches out, welcome her with the same calm. She tested no lectures, no guilt. If she doesn't, you still win. You kept your frame, honored your peace, and filtered what wasn't ready for your strength. Ultimately, her fear isn't losing control to you, it's losing control to her own emotions. Show her emotions can flow inside the banks of your steady river. That is leadership. That is power. That is how a Stoic man turns distance into deeper connection. Remember, masculine strength isn't loud. It's the quiet confidence that refuses to beg, the patient discipline that lets storms pass without surrendering the helm. The reward for that discipline is twofold. Either she steps into the calm you provide, or she drifts away and makes room for a woman ready to love on equal footing. Either outcome preserves your dignity, your focus, and your mission core pillars. No romance should ever be allowed to shake. 2. She tests what you're made of. When a woman suddenly pulls back right after showing interest, most men assume she's lost feelings, but that's not always true. Sometimes, she's not pulling away because she's overwhelmed. She's testing you, not to play games, but to see if you're real. Women are constantly surrounded by weak energy men who chase fast, crumble under pressure, and lose composure. The moment tension rises, so, when she pulls back, cancels plans, acts cold, stops texting as quickly, she's not always running from you. She might be watching you. She's silently asking, will you stay grounded when things shift? Or will you chase validation like every other guy? Do you remain calm, or do you start explaining yourself? Seeking reassurance, begging for her to come back. That response defines you, and it defines how she sees you, because a woman doesn't want to give her heart to a man she doesn't respect. Respect always comes first. No respect, no attraction, no attraction, no connection. Modern dating is chaotic options everywhere. Constant noise. So her instincts kick in. Let me test him now, before I trust him later. And here's the truth most men miss. If you respond with emotion, she marks you as weak. Long texts, neediness, asking what's wrong. She doesn't read those messages as care. She reads them as collapse. Because if you can't handle her silence, how will you handle life? The man who can't stay centered when a woman shifts her energy will never be trusted to lead through anything deeper. So what do you do first? Detach from outcome. You're not here to convince her of your value. You're here to demonstrate it by how you carry yourself. If she's cold, you stay composed. If she cancels, you don't guilt her. You don't lash out. You simply move on with grace and strength. She doesn't need you to fight her tests. She needs to feel that your self-worth is untouchable. And when she sees that you're not reacting, not chasing, not breaking down over a little distance, she starts to feel something deeper. That feeling is respect. And when respect enters, so does attraction. When attraction grows, so does trust. That's how real connection is built. So don't respond with anger. Don't try to win her back with performance. Just lead. Lead with your posture, your focus, your stillness, and let her wonder. Let her see you're not shaken. Let her feel the silence. Because here's what happens next. If she was only testing, she'll return. And this time, she'll return softer, more open, more intentional. And if she doesn't come back, you've still won. Because you filtered out someone who couldn't respect you. Every man will be tested. Not once, not twice, but over and over. The difference is, strong men don't react. They observe. They protect their frame. And they let their quiet strength speak louder than begging ever could. 3. She's battling her own past. Sometimes when a woman pulls away, it's not about you. It's about everything that happened before you. Her distance, her coldness, her sudden emotional shutdown. It's not rejection. It's memory. It's protection. It's her past rising up to defend her. You see, most women don't just carry emotions. They carry scars. Scars from betrayal, abandonment, lies, empty promises. And when you begin to mean something to her, when real feelings start to take shape, so do the fears that come with them. Fears that say, this feels familiar. What if he leaves? What if he changes? What if this ends like the last time? So she pulls back. Not because she wants to, but because the pain she remembers is louder than the hope she feels. This is where most men fail. They take it personally. They try to fix her. They ask, what's wrong? They push for answers. They give more affection, hoping to pull her close. But here's the paradox. The more you try to prove yourself to a woman haunted by the past, the more unstable you seem. Because her fear isn't just that you'll hurt her. Her fear is that emotions bring chaos. And if your energy shifts with hers, you confirm that fear, what she actually needs, is not a fixer, not a savior. She needs emotional consistency. So what does that look like? It looks like this. You don't panic. You don't chase. You don't try to rescue her from her own shadows. You remain grounded. You let her pull back if she needs to. You don't force a conversation. You don't demand her vulnerability. You become the calm she didn't know she needed. You show her that feelings don't always lead to instability. That a man can care without collapsing. That your strength isn't conditional on her availability. When you stop trying to fix the moment and just hold your frame, something begins to shift. She notices. She compares your stillness to the chaos others brought. And slowly, she begins to trust it. That's the key. Not to make her forget the past, but to give her no reason to project it onto you. Because when she realizes you're not here to control her, or rush her, or manipulate her, she breathes. She lets down the armor, not because you forced her to, but because your stillness invited safety, and from safety comes respect. From respect comes connection. From connection comes consistency. But remember this, you are not responsible for healing her past. You are only responsible for how you show up in the present. A woman haunted by trauma doesn't need more emotion. She needs strength she can lean on without fear of it crumbling beneath her. And when you become that, the man who doesn't lose himself when she disappears, you become the one she returns to when the storm inside finally clears. That's how you lead through silence. That's how you win without chasing. And that's what makes you unforgettable to a woman who never thought she could trust again. 4. She's seeing if you'll chase. There comes a moment in almost every connection where a woman steps back, Not because she's done with you, not because she lost interest, but because she wants to see what you'll do next. This pause, this sudden shift, it's not always confusion. Sometimes it's calculated. She's not just pulling away. She's creating space to observe. She's watching how you respond to uncertainty. Will you panic? Will you chase? Will you trade your center for her approval? Here's the truth most men miss. When a woman starts feeling something real for you, she also starts fearing it. She wonders, is he serious? Can he handle my emotional complexity? Will he stay grounded if I withdraw? But she won't ask those questions directly. Instead, she'll test. She'll go quiet. She'll pull back just enough to see if you lose yourself trying to win her. If your instinct is to chase, to flood her inbox, to ask what's wrong, to show up uninvited, you fail the test without even knowing. Why? Because you just told her that she controls the tempo, that your peace depends on her presence. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness disguised as care. Chasing is not love. It's emotional insecurity in motion. The moment you chase, you switch roles. You go from being the grounded man with purpose to the reactive man with anxiety. You stop being the leader of your story, and you become another man orbiting hers. But a Stoic man knows better. He knows that leadership isn't about chasing, it's about stillness under pressure. When she pulls back, he doesn't react. He doesn't rush to fix something that isn't broken. He observes. He continues living. He respects the space she created, not as rejection, but as an invitation for her to reflect. And that silence, it speaks volumes. Because when she looks back and sees you unshaken, still rooted in who you are, still moving forward, she feels something rare, respect. Not just for you, but for how you carry yourself. She realizes you're not the man she can manipulate with silence. You're the man who lets her feel your absence without begging for her return. And that shift, that's where real attraction begins. Because now she's wondering, why didn't he chase me? What is it about him that feels different? Did I misjudge his interest? And most importantly, have I lost his attention? You see, the game flips when you stop playing it. Chasing puts her in power. Stillness puts you in control. It tells her, I see you, but I won't lose myself for you. And that's what makes you unforgettable, not the effort you give, but the presence you hold. So when she pulls away, don't chase, don't beg, don't collapse. Stay composed. Let her come to you not because you forced it, but because your stillness made her realize she never really wanted to walk away. 5. She's afraid you'll see the real her. There's a moment in nearly every deepening connection when a woman starts pulling away, not because she's losing interest, but because you're getting too close to something real. You're no longer just seeing the highlight reel, the confident laugh, the polished responses, the curated image. You're starting to glimpse the unfiltered version of her, the version with insecurities, with fear, with emotional history, and that terrifies her more than rejection. It might sound backwards, but the closer she feels to you emotionally, the more afraid she becomes. Why? Because if you truly see her, all of her, you might not stay. Many women carry wounds they've spent years hiding. They've been told they were too much, too sensitive, too emotional, or worse, they've been judged for simply being real. So they learn to perform, to present only the version they believe is lovable. But when you show up with presence, when you make her feel seen beyond the surface, you also stir up the fear that you'll reject what's underneath. And that fear doesn't come out in words. It shows up in silence, in sudden mood swings, in message left on read. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she does. She's afraid if she lets you all the way in, you'll see the brokenness she's spent years trying to cover up and walk away. This is where most men break their frame. They panic. They start explaining, over-texting, reassuring. I would never hurt you. You can trust me. But here's the truth. She's not listening to your words. She's feeling your energy. And if your energy becomes anxious or reactive, she'll read that as weakness, not safety. What she truly needs in that moment isn't promises, it's stability. She's watching to see if your masculinity is conditional, only strong when things are going well, or solid, even when she pulls away. She wants to know, can you handle her complexity without flinching? Can you stay grounded when she's spinning? Can you hold the space? Not try to fix her, but simply be unmoved. Because when you don't chase, when you don't overreact, when you stay calm and rooted in who you are, you signal something powerful. You're not afraid of her truth. You're not running from her shadows. And most importantly, you don't need her validation to remain composed. That's what earns her trust. Not declarations, not promises, but presence. She begins to feel safe, not because you said the right thing, but because you didn't fall apart when she pulled away. That safety melts defenses. It tells her this man won't flee at the first sign of messiness. This man can handle the real me. And that's when the walls start to fall. That's when she begins to show you more, not just of her affection, but of her soul. So when she seems distant, don't take it personally. Don't chase her back into your arms. Stand still. Let her feel your steadiness. Because in a world full of men who need constant reassurance, you become rare the moment you stop seeking it. 6. She's not sure she deserves you. Sometimes, the reason she pushes you away has nothing to do with you and everything to do with how she views herself. You could be everything she's ever wanted: stable, composed, emotionally grounded. But if deep down she doesn't feel worthy of that kind of man, she'll start pulling away. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she's afraid that eventually you'll see the parts of her she tries to hide and walk away. On the surface, she might seem confident. She might smile, flirt, carry herself like she's in full control. But beneath that exterior, there's often a woman wrestling with quiet insecurities, ones she's buried for years. She might still carry the weight of past relationships where she was judged, rejected, or abandoned for being too emotional, too needy, or too real. So even as you offer her something honest, calm, and steady, she begins to panic, not because you've done anything wrong, but because she fears you're too good to be true. She starts asking herself questions. Why would he choose me? What happens when he sees my flaws? What if I'm not enough? And rather than risk the heartbreak of being left when she's most vulnerable, she creates distance. She may start arguments, pretend she's too busy, act uninterested, anything to regain control over a situation that feels emotionally unsafe. Here's the mistake most men make. They rush in to reassure her. They start chasing. They say things like, "You can trust me," or "I'm not like the others." But words won't save you here. Because if she senses even a hint of anxiety in your energy, if she sees you reacting out of fear, trying to fix what isn't broken, she won't feel safer. She'll feel confirmed in her fear that closeness leads to chaos. What she truly needs isn't rescue. She needs to witness your stillness. She needs to see that even when she retreats, even when she's guarded and unsure, you remain steady. You don't panic. You don't chase validation. You don't take her distance as rejection. Instead, you lead with quiet strength. You give her the space to face herself, not because you're giving up, but because you're grounded in your own worth. You don't lower yourself to ease her fear. You invite her to rise. One of the most powerful things a man can do is to hold his frame when a woman starts doubting herself, not with words, but with presence. That presence doesn't demand anything. It just is. And in that space, she begins to feel something rare, safety. When she feels safe, her walls begin to lower, not because you pushed them down, but because she chose to. She'll open up not the polished version, but the raw, emotional, unfiltered woman behind the mask. That's when the real bond begins. So, if she starts to pull back just when things are getting deep, don't interpret that as rejection. It may be her old wounds resurfacing, her fears whispering that this is too good to last. Don't let that shift your posture. Stay grounded, and she'll either grow into the love you're offering or show you she's not yet ready for it. 7. She's afraid you'll see the real her. Sometimes, when a woman pushes you away, it's not because she's lost interest. It's because she's scared to believe you're different. She's been hurt before. Not once, not twice, but enough times to build walls so high, you'd need more than sweet words to climb them. You see, she's heard it all. I'm not like the others. You can trust me. I would never leave. But time after time, those promises faded. When the emotions got real, they disappeared. They lied. They chose someone else. So now, even if she wants you, even if her heart is pulling her closer, her mind says, don't trust it just yet. And that's where her test begins. Not with words, but with distance, with silence. She stops texting as much. She cancels without a real excuse. She starts acting colder. And here's where most men break. They panic. They overreact. They get emotional. Why are you acting different? Did I do something wrong? Please talk to me. They don't realize this is the moment she's been waiting for. Not to punish you, not to manipulate you, but to see how you handle pressure, to see if your character holds up when the game stops being easy. She wants to know if you're consistent, even when she's inconsistent. She wants to know, will you remain grounded? When her mood shifts, will you still respect yourself when she becomes distant? Because to her, that's what makes a man different. Not the way he talks, but the way he acts when things don't go his way. So what do you do when she pulls away? You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't explain. You lead. You stay calm. You stand still in your strength. That's what makes her take notice, because every guy before you came unraveled the second she got quiet. But you didn't fold. You didn't crumble. You didn't try to fix her emotions. You gave her space. You honored your own value. And you let her come to you. That's the difference. Being different doesn't mean being perfect. It means being unshaken by the storms she creates, out of fear. Because when she sees that you won't react with desperation, she starts to believe, maybe this man is safe. Maybe I don't have to push this one away. Maybe I can let go of the fear and trust again. But only if you stay solid. Her test is simple. She wants to see what breaks you. And if nothing does, you become the exception. You become the man who makes her rethink every wall she's built. So next time she pulls back, don't take it personally. Don't try to prove yourself with words. Prove yourself with stillness, with presence, with control. Let her feel the silence. Let her wonder why you're not chasing. Let her realize she might lose a man who's not like the rest. And that fear, that realization, is exactly what pulls her back in. When a woman pulls away, don't rush to fix it. Don't chase. Don't react. Understand what's really happening beneath the surface. She's not just creating distance. She's watching how solid your foundation is. Most men fail this test because they let fear lead. But the man who stays composed, who doesn't beg for validation or lose his frame, that's the man she remembers. That's the man she can respect. It's not about controlling her behavior. It's about mastering yours. So let her pull back. Let the silence speak. And let your stillness become the message she never expected. If this spoke to something deeper in you, tap the like button. Subscribe for more real talk like this. And drop a comment below on how you hold your ground in moments of emotional pressure. This is the Stoic spirit. We'll see you in the next video.